London lightning run, and then take it back to Australia again afterwards. It was amazing.
I'll just ask you to do quite casually, oh, you know what, I'll take my car halfway around the way, drive from London to back, and then just go home with it. That's even not.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Start talking about some of the rollers now, because the first one coming round the bottom corner towards us. This is an Avon Porter. And the rollers we have here this weekend are Avon Porter. And that particular one was new to the Edison Rolling Company in the mid-1920s. The Edison Rolling Company were a big firm of rolling contractors based in Dorchester, although that engine was actually based out in, I think, Grantham in Lincolnshire. That is a piston valve engine, and it's a compound owned by the Swarfield family from Crookhern. That was sold in the Thorlesford reduction sale about 10-15 years ago, and that's where it was purchased. Following on, I would say something completely different, although this particular engine did leave the factory originally in the form of a roller, and has since been converted to this showman specification. It just goes to show, really, all the steam engine really is a boiler with an engine on the top, and they just make different varieties of them. That one there in the showman's configuration, notice a dyno on the front. That's for driving showground rides, etc. And I think if you hang around this evening, it will be there in the bar and see the Norfolk boys, as I call them, passing the commentary point now. Another Avon Importer roller. This, I believe, is what they call an F-type, but that's getting a bit technical. That was new to Coventry Corporation in 1928. Worked until 1963 and was sold straight into preservation. And it's been around in the Norfolk family for some time. Passing the commentary box now, something slightly different, made by Man's Leeds area. It's a little, it's what I call a steam tractor. They made a lot of wagons in this form, and Man's always looks slightly different to everything else, but they have the same sort of locomotive type boiler as all the other engines. Passing now is a Bow agricultural engine. It's one of the much later editions of an engine by Burroughs of Thetford in Norfolk. Pride of Devon, and I believe it's actually owned now by a person in Devon, would you believe? I don't think that occurs in your actual programme, that one.
What about this roller here, Richard?
Oh, I know this one quite well. This is actually my own engine.
Hey.
Again, Avon Porter. 1905 this one was built, and I do have a tax disc at home from 1963, which is the last year it was actually taxed. So it worked for nearly 50 years, which is something that you don't get these days. You will see on the front it says number 123. It was owned by Buncombe's of Highbridge, and number 123 was the fleet number it carried for Buncombe's. Also, if you look at the front rolls closely, there's it's cast in, it says cast by Easton and Johnson at Taunton, and we believe that the original rolls were worn out and Buncombe's got Easton and Johnson to cast up some new ones. Interesting little engine, or not little, interesting engine passing the concrete box now. Again, it's a Burrell agricultural. This is what they call a single crank compound. Again, getting a bit technical, it's a compound engine owned by Matt and Lisa Hurd from Western Zoyland. That engine was originally purchased by Matt's great-grandfather, who actually owned a pub in Western Zoyland. And if you go to, I forgot what the pub's called, but there's a pub in Western Zoyland. If you go in and you look up inside the bar, you'll see the ceiling's very high. And they used to keep the thrashing machine that they pulled behind that in what is now the bar in the pub in Western Zoyland. We just missed the Canadian case going past. As I said earlier, it was actually produced in America. It worked in Canada for most of its working life. And in 2005 it moved to Germany. And in 2018 it was brought back to the UK to be her new home. And this is the first year she has been seen at rallies in this country. Also, got a job to keep up here at the moment. The Wallace and Stevens agriculture engine has just passed us, called Balius. That's owned by the whole family from Western Zoyland. And just passing again now, yet another Aveling roller. This one was new to Hove Corporation. And this one actually has, on the back of it, has a scarifier. Electric one. It could be returned to steam after plugging a few holes in the boiler. But at the moment that's running on electric power.
Elsewhere, here comes Grommet. It's number 24, one we're rather familiar with here at the Steam Rally. This was produced in 2011. It's a road locomotive run to a 4-inch scaling. One of a pair built by the owner over a period of 15 years. What more can you tell me, Richard?
I was going to say that's more like the build time for all of these things, 15 years.
Being able to oblige the child in me that seems to have evaporated from Richard, but then again, can you blame him? If you'd be able to put your whistles on all together in one big crescendo, that would be absolutely lovely, at least from my perspective anyway, but then again, I do have a mental age of 10. But yeah, if you feel like pulling on your whistles, that'd be great. See, that's like, yeah, there we go, it's a lovely noise, wonderful. Yeah, great. That's, oh, I like that. Round of applause for our orchestra of steam there, everybody. That sounded gorgeous.
A late comer, as it were.